Some people follow the crowd. Sigma males don't even notice there was a crowd. Society runs on rules, scripts, and social expectations. Sigma males? They miss the memo, and toss the manual into the fire for warmth. There's something quietly unsettling about them. They're not rebels. They're not leaders. They're phantoms drifting through a world obsessed with status, attention, and approval, completely unmoved by the noise. And here's the wild part. According to psychological studies, less than 1% of men fit the Sigma archetype. That's rarer than finding someone who genuinely enjoys small talk at a party. While most people are hardwired to chase connection and validation, Sigma males operate on a completely different frequency. There are entire belief systems, social behaviors, and group norms that the average person breathes like oxygen, yet a Sigma simply can't relate. Not because he wants to be different, but because his mind just isn't wired that way. In today's video, we're peeling back the layers and diving deep into 12 mind-bending things Sigma males simply don't understand. Not because they're rebellious, but because they're unplugged from the matrix entirely. Fair warning, this isn't your feel-good, sugar-coated personality fluff. These insights might just make you question everything about how you've been living. Let's get into it. Number 1, romantic clinginess disguised as love. Sigma males simply don't resonate with love that clings, smothers, or parades as affection while hiding emotional dependency. That intense, desperate need for constant contact, the kind movies romanticize as "I can't live without you," doesn't feel romantic to them. It feels like emotional captivity. They don't view love as two broken halves completing each other. To a Sigma, love is a conscious decision between two whole individuals, walking side by side, independent, yet connected. They aren't drawn to drama-filled romance or the constant hand-holding some equate with devotion. In fact, that level of neediness is unsettling. What most people call passion, they often recognize as fear. Fear of being alone, fear of silence, fear of confronting one's own emptiness. And that's exactly what they reject, fear dressed as love. To the Sigma male, true love never asks you to sacrifice your identity, your inner calm, or your autonomy. The moment affection becomes pressure, they instinctively retreat. Not out of cruelty, but out of principle. They'd rather walk away entirely than remain in a relationship where space is mistaken for rejection, or independence is treated like betrayal. They also can't relate to the constant need for reassurance. If love requires daily affirmations just to feel real, it's no longer a relationship, it's an emotional transaction. Sigma males aren't interested in being someone's therapist, savior, or safety net. That kind of dynamic drains them. For them, love should be quiet, grounded, and liberating, not chaotic, needy, and emotionally exhausting. So when someone clings, begs for attention, or confuses obsession with loyalty, it doesn't pull a Sigma closer. It repels him. Not because he lacks emotion, but because he refuses to equate love with possession. And if love begins to feel like a cage, he won't argue. He'll leave, and never look back. Number 2, the obsession with constant connectivity. Sigma males find today's obsession with being constantly connected not just strange, but suffocating. The pressure to always be available, texting back instantly, replying to DMs, staying active on every social platform, isn't a lifestyle to them. It's a form of digital enslavement. They don't treat their phone like a lifeline. They don't scroll aimlessly to feel engaged. To the Sigma, silence isn't awkward. It's sacred. It's where clarity lives. It's where they regain control of their mind. So when society demands round-the-clock accessibility, they opt out, completely. Phone off. Do not disturb. No apologies. If they vanish for days, it's not emotional withdrawal, it's intentional solitude. What the world calls disconnection, they call freedom. Sigma males don't crave group chats, online validation, or the dopamine hit of another notification. In fact, the louder the digital world becomes, the more likely they are to disappear from it. They see endless connectivity as a trap, just a more glamorous version of dependence. When people accuse them of being hard to reach or emotionally unavailable, they don't defend themselves. They don't need to. Because, in their view, needing to be constantly in touch isn't love or closeness, it's emotional codependency. Sigma males don't ghost people to play games. They unplug to preserve peace. While others panic over unread messages or feel anxious if they haven't posted in 24 hours, Sigma males feel relieved. No noise. No digital leash. No distractions pulling their energy in 1,000 directions. That's not avoidance. That's discipline. That's power. Number 3, prioritizing charisma over competence. Sigma males simply cannot understand society's obsession with charisma. To them, charm without depth is just noise, loud, flashy, and hollow. Yet time and again, they watch people hand over respect, authority, and influence to those who can smile wide, talk fast, and say absolutely nothing meaningful. It's baffling, even dangerous. Society seems to equate being entertaining with being capable. A smooth voice, a few polished jokes, a confident posture, and suddenly that person is a thought leader, a guru, or some kind of authority figure. But Sigma males don't fall for that act. They're not dazzled by performance. In fact, the more someone tries to impress them, the more skeptical they become. To a Sigma, competence speaks louder than charisma ever could. They value the person quietly building in the background, not the one soaking up attention in the front row. Loud doesn't mean wise. Flashy doesn't mean skilled. They know talkers fade. Builders endure. Sigma males don't need applause, they're busy getting results. While the world chases viral personalities, Sigma males quietly dominate through action. They'd rather follow the one who says little but delivers much than the one who speaks constantly and contributes nothing. To them, charisma without competence is like a luxury car with no engine, shiny, expensive looking, but utterly useless. Number 4, tolerating toxicity just to avoid conflict. Sigma males can't wrap their heads around why people keep toxic individuals in their lives simply to dodge uncomfortable conversations. To them, it's like living with a fire hazard just because you're scared of sounding rude to the flames. They see people tolerate guilt trippers, manipulators, and energy vampires, not out of love, but out of fear. Fear of confrontation. Fear of change. Fear of being alone. But Sigma males don't operate that way. They don't cling to chaos just to maintain a fragile sense of peace. If someone disrupts their inner clarity, friend, partner, family, it doesn't matter. They cut ties silently and efficiently. No drama, no warnings, no drawn-out talks. They're not cold. They're calculated. They know emotional poison doesn't heal, it spreads. And they won't wait around to watch it infect everything. They're deeply confused when they see others keep the peace by walking on eggshells and pretending everything is fine. That's not peace. That's self-betrayal. Sigma males don't do emotional compromise. They don't stick around because of guilt, nostalgia, or obligation. If someone becomes a mental burden, they're gone. End of story. To most people, that seems harsh. But to a Sigma, it's self-preservation. They see their time, focus, and energy as limited, and wasting it on toxicity is a deal they'll never make. While others are still hoping, maybe they'll change, the Sigma male has already left, chosen solitude over suffering, and built a life where peace isn't something earned, it's expected. Number 5, mistaking busyness for purpose. Sigma males don't understand why so many people treat being busy like it's some kind of personality trait or badge of honor. The endless grind, back-to-back meetings, and color-coded calendars don't impress them. To a Sigma, that looks less like productivity and more like chaos wearing a mask of purpose. Society has somehow made burnout look fashionable, and Sigma males find that baffling. To them, being overwhelmed isn't a flex, it's a red flag. It signals that your life is out of alignment. They see people bragging about how exhausted they are and think, what are you running from? Because the truth is, most people stay busy to avoid being still, so they don't have to confront their own thoughts. It's escapism disguised as ambition. But Sigma males thrive in the silence others avoid. That's where they think, build, and transform. They're not wired to chase clout through hustle. They don't need to broadcast their grind to feel valuable. In fact, they prefer being underestimated while quietly achieving more. While others glorify struggle and movement, Sigmas prioritize freedom, and freedom doesn't come from being booked and busy. It comes from being intentional and selective. They measure worth in results, not hours. They'd rather put in 2 hours of deep, focused work than 10 hours of shallow chaos. And they don't care who's watching. When people post about sleepless nights and non-stop grinding, Sigma males just shake their heads. That's not ambition, it's addiction. Addiction to movement, to noise, to the illusion of progress. Because if your schedule is full but your spirit is empty, you're not succeeding, you're just surviving. And that's not a life a Sigma male is willing to live. Number 6, the illusion of brotherhood. Sigma males have always questioned the so-called brotherhoods found in many male social circles. You know the kind, bonding over beers, shared jokes, shallow advice, and forced loyalty. From the outside, it might look like a strong bond. But to a Sigma, it's just another performance. They don't buy into the idea that laughing at the same jokes or going to the same gym somehow makes someone trustworthy. In fact, they often view these groups as ego collectives, men flexing for each other, handing out fake praise, and hiding behind the group to avoid facing their own insecurities. What really makes Sigma males pull away is the unspoken rule: no one's allowed to be real. Vulnerability is off limits. Depth is discouraged. Everyone stays surface level to protect the group's fragile identity. And if someone starts to think differently, grow, or break the mold, suddenly he's seen as too serious or acting different. That kind of emotional ceiling suffocates a Sigma male. They don't want to belong to a group where loyalty depends on conformity. Sigma males crave authenticity, conversations that go beneath the surface, friendships that remain even when you stop playing along. They've learned that most so-called brotherhoods last only as long as the mutual ego stroking does. Break the script, and the bond breaks too. So they choose solitude over pretense. Not because they hate people, but because they refuse to fake connection just to avoid being alone. To them, real brotherhood is rare, quiet, and built on depth, not just shared drinks and surface bravado. Pretending to belong somewhere just to avoid isolation? That's the real weakness, and it's a role Sigma males will never play. Number 7. Hollow authority. Sigma males have a built-in resistance to blind obedience. Titles, ranks, and job positions don't impress them. Just because someone has manager, director, or CEO next to their name doesn't automatically command a Sigma male's respect. To him, authority without substance is like a trophy made of plastic, shiny but worthless. He's seen too many people rise through the ranks by playing politics, flattering the right people, or simply fitting the image. And too often, those same people misuse their power, make poor decisions, or treat others with entitlement. That's why Sigma males don't submit to authority, they evaluate it. If the person in charge lacks integrity, clarity, and real skill, the Sigma checks out, quietly but completely. He won't rebel loudly or make a scene. He'll continue doing his work, often better than expected, but the emotional investment is gone. Sigma males are not motivated by fear, pressure, or external validation. What drives them is competence, vision, and authenticity. If a leader possesses those traits, they earn the Sigma's loyalty, not because of the title, but because of earned respect. This mindset often confuses traditional hierarchies. Most people are taught to follow orders without question. But Sigma males don't see authority as sacred, they see it as something that must be proven. And when they encounter someone who truly leads with wisdom and consistency, they'll follow, not blindly, but willingly. Respect, to a Sigma male, is never automatic. It must be built through action, truth, and character. Without that, your position means nothing to them, and they won't pretend otherwise. Number 8. Happiness as a performance. Sigma males have zero interest in performing happiness for an audience. The social media culture of constantly showcasing joy, the curated photos, exaggerated captions, and endless living my best life posts feels foreign and hollow to them. To a Sigma, if you're truly content, why are you trying so hard to convince others? They see right through the polished feeds and forced smiles. It doesn't look like happiness. It looks like desperation for validation. In their eyes, real peace doesn't need a stage, it lives in silence and stillness. It's not branded. It's not sold. It just is. Sigma males don't take photos of their coffee to prove they're relaxed. They just sip it in quiet solitude. They don't document their progress for applause. They live it, slowly, deeply, and deliberately. They also recognize that performative joy is often a mask for dissatisfaction. Many times, the loudest voices online are the ones struggling the most offline. Sigma males have witnessed people posting grinning selfies while their lives fall apart in private. That disconnect makes no sense to them. If you're struggling, own it. Don't sugarcoat it for an audience. That's why Sigma males often disappear from the digital world. Not because they're hiding, but because they're living. They're not interested in likes, followers, or digital applause. If life is good, they enjoy it quietly. If it's hard, they face it privately. To them, happiness isn't a campaign. It's not a highlight reel. It's a state of alignment with self. And if you have to constantly declare it, you probably don't really have it. Number 9. Allegiance to broken systems. Sigma males have no tolerance for blind loyalty, especially to dysfunctional systems. Whether it's a toxic job, a stifling cultural norm, or a meaningless tradition, they won't stick around just because that's how it is. That phrase is a red flag to them. It signals that critical thinking has died and people are just settling. They see no honor in staying loyal to something that stunts your growth. That's not commitment, it's self-betrayal. And that's something Sigma males won't tolerate. Traditional systems want obedience. But Sigma males don't follow scripts, they rewrite them. They don't fix what refuses to change. They simply walk away, quietly and deliberately, without drama or announcements. They stay long enough to study the flaws and plan their exit with precision. Once they see the rot, they won't pretend it's not there. Loyalty to a system that drains you isn't noble, it's spiritual suffocation. And Sigma males would rather start from scratch than sell their soul to comfort. Number 10. The obsession with being seen. Sigma males are baffled by society's obsession with attention. While others fight to be seen, praised, and validated, Sigmas move in the opposite direction, into the shadows. They don't just avoid the spotlight, they shut it off. Needing to prove your worth constantly feels fake to them. If you have to announce your value, maybe you don't truly believe in it. Sigma males don't dress for approval, chase likes, or compete for recognition. They dress for comfort, move in silence, and thrive in spaces where no one's watching. For them, freedom is found in invisibility, freedom to think, build, and live without interference. They don't want to be known by many, just to be deeply understood by a few, if any. When they disappear, it's not for show, it's for peace. While others scream for attention, Sigma males craft a life that doesn't require an audience. Because the goal isn't to be seen, it's to see clearly. And you can't do that if you're blinded by the spotlight. Number 11, keeping toxic people just to avoid conflict. Sigma males have zero tolerance for emotional chaos, especially when it's disguised as loyalty, nostalgia, or family duty. What completely puzzles them is how so many people willingly keep toxic individuals around just to dodge an uncomfortable conversation. The fear of saying, "This isn't working," or "You're draining me," traps people in emotional quicksand. And to a Sigma male, that's pure insanity. They don't believe in tolerating harmful behavior just because someone's been around for years, or because they're family, or because it might cause a scene. To a Sigma, if the boat is sinking, rock it. Sink it. Just don't sit there pretending the water isn't rising. They can't grasp why anyone would choose quiet misery over one moment of honest confrontation. Sigma males aren't drawn to drama, but they don't fear discomfort either. That's why when a relationship turns toxic, be it a partner, a friend, or a coworker, they don't argue, plead, or explain. They just disappear. No emotional performance. No long goodbye. Just clean distance. That's not pettiness, it's strategy. It's peace. Here's the harsh truth: if someone doesn't understand basic respect, Sigma males don't bother teaching it. They don't negotiate with dysfunction, they exit. It's not cold. It's calculated. No lingering resentment. No half-closed chapters. Just a hard reset no one saw coming. Others might call it avoidance. Sigma males call it self-preservation. Life is short, and they refuse to spend it patching holes in a sinking ship. While others cling to what's familiar, out of guilt, fear, or habit, the Sigma male walks away without hesitation. Why? Because peace is non-negotiable. If someone's presence costs them their clarity, energy, or self-respect, that person becomes a ghost. Not because the Sigma is heartless, but because he's finally learned what most people never will. Some people deserve silence more than a second chance. Number 12, compromising truth just to be nice. Sigma males have no interest in sugarcoating reality to protect fragile egos. They see the world as it is, not as people wish it were, and they speak accordingly. The idea of softening the truth just to be polite feels fake to them. In a world addicted to surface-level politeness, filtered words, and comfortable lies, Sigma males are unapologetically real. Not because they want to offend, but because they value truth over approval. They don't equate being kind with telling people what they want to hear. In fact, they see that kind of false niceness as a form of manipulation. It creates illusions, it keeps people stagnant, and it allows toxic behavior to go unchecked. They're not here to protect egos. They're here to protect clarity. Yes, this directness intimidates people, especially those used to flattery, sugar-coated feedback, and passive-aggressive games. But Sigma males don't speak to hurt, they speak to reveal. And those strong enough to evolve will appreciate it in time. They don't dance around problems. If something's wrong, they say it. If something doesn't feel right, they won't pretend it does. They'd rather walk away than participate in shallow social rituals. The politics of small talk? Fake compliments? Forced laughter? It drains them. Sigma males would rather have one brutal truth than 100 pretty lies. To them, honesty is the ultimate filter. It reveals who can handle reality and who needs illusions to function. And they're fine either way. They're not here to manage your emotions. They're here to live in truth. So if you ask a Sigma for their opinion, prepare for the raw version. No fluff. No filters. No performance. Just brutal clarity. And that, to them, is the highest form of respect. Final words. The Sigma male doesn't just think outside the box. He refuses to acknowledge the box even exists. In a world obsessed with appearances, noise, and approval, he moves in silence. Guided by clarity, not chaos. He questions what others blindly follow. He walks away from what others tolerate. He chooses truth, solitude, and self-respect over comfort and popularity. What makes Sigma males so hard to understand isn't their complexity. It's that they've detached from systems most people are still enslaved to. They don't need attention to feel valid. They don't cling to toxicity to feel loved. They don't submit to authority unless it's earned. And they don't remain in broken situations just to avoid rocking the boat. They vanish when things turn fake. They disconnect when noise replaces meaning. They tell the truth even when it hurts. And they stay invisible not because they're weak, but because true power doesn't beg to be seen. While the world performs, conforms, and reacts, Sigma males remain still, observing, thinking, moving in silence, living on their terms. Not because they think they're better, but because they've learned the ultimate truth. Freedom only begins when you no longer need to be understood. If this video hit something deep in you, that's no accident. Subscribe to this channel, because here, we value depth over noise, truth over comfort, and individuality over the script. Like the video, drop a comment below, and share it with someone who needs this message. Because one honest truth can do what 1,000 fake smiles never will. Stay sharp, stay grounded, and above all, stay unapologetically Sigma.